So in my last video, I was speaking about how we get fractured, sort of a dissociative identity disorder. Here's us, our body now. Here's all the negative potentialities of who we can become and how our life can turn out. And here's all the positive, most hopeful potentialities, which is actually right, which is the totally balanced version of you. Well, and I believe what we do need to do is we need to integrate these bodies. One is who you are now, who you see. The other is the completely negative perspective of yourself, which creates this, if you could see it, this perceptual, psychological imprint and image and body. So you have in your mind an image of how you look, basically, versus how you actually look, because the image you may have in your mind of how you look may differ towards how you actually look, okay? So what I'm saying is that there's a sort of war between us. There's the one side that sees us as bad, and there's the one side that sees us as good. In our own mind. It's quite incredible that our own mind's actually doing this. And so we need to balance those. And I believe the way in which you do that is to surrender and to have faith. Because when you can surrender and go into like a meditative feeling of surrender, you feel a complete wave within your consciousness and your body, which are one and the same thing, of relaxation and healing pour over you. And if you haven't experienced that before, you should try that. Just lie down, close your eyes, and focus on feeling as you're just giving it to God and giving it to divinity and the divine will. And allow yourself to feel what that feels like, because that will be able to bring you super duper enhanced experiences and feelings. At the end of the day, what we're doing is we're integrating feelings. This is how we integrate these three bodies. Like, one is who you are, who you actually are in this reality. The other is this mental image of like the worst part of you, like you created like a bad image of yourself. And the other is a good image of yourself. But as I said in the previous video, we usually have a bad image of ourselves and not a good one. And so I believe that when we can learn to integrate these mental, psychological images that we have of ourselves, which you do, whether you've seen them or not, you do, trust me, okay? You do have them in your subconscious. The mind is so powerful, guys. You literally have the ability to create mental images of yourself within your subconscious, even though you may not even be aware of it. But I've been able to see it because, certain enhanced perceptual abilities in which it is that I've experienced thanks to this knowledge and so forth and so on. So what I've seen is that we have these image-based imprints of ourselves in our mind, in the back of our head. Like I can see my imagination, my subconscious, put it that way. It freaked me out at first when I started seeing it. But since I started studying it, this is what I've seen. That we have like a totally negative image of ourselves and who we'll become or whatever. And that's like floating around your head, and then you've got a totally positive image of who you'll become and your life, peaceful life, harmony, so forth and so on, in your head. And they're simultaneously flying around you, and flying around this body here that you're in now. And they're competing, as I've illustrated in, I wonder if it's in this book. So you've got these bubbles of energy, negative or positive, and they're floating around your head. And they are determining your perspective and image of your current physical body in which it is that you happen to be in now. Like this over here. Almost looks like a cell. And you've got these funny little bubbles of thoughts and imagery, and you can't see them, and energy. And they come around and you feel this energy, and all of a sudden you start getting these emotions. Well, if you could see this energy you're feeling that all of a sudden made you feel stressful and all of a sudden made you remember something, you may see that in your mind you're actually playing this imagery of what happened or whatever the case may be in your head, or what can happen. And both what we do want to happen and what we don't. Both the most distorted version of ourselves or the most balanced and pure version of ourselves. Okay? Because in order to heal, this is your aura, right? This is your psychological matrix, okay? In order to heal the psychological matrix, we would need to access the purest version of ourselves, which is the purest version of our consciousness, right? That's as close as God's consciousness as you get to. And that will heal all these little thought bubbles and memory energy constructs floating around your head that are causing you to feel pain and turmoil from potential past traumas that you may have struggled to be able to heal, which may be currently still affecting you now. And that's usually what happens. These bubbles floating around, they're memory energy constructs. And I call them memory energy constructs because, like, memories are energies. Like the emotions they come with, you feel an energy, like emotion, energy is in motion. So we need to basically accept this fearful version of ourselves that we have in our head, and then we need to accept the reality that a super duper positive version of ourselves we can imagine and believe in. And each one of those versions that are floating around our field are actually determining who we come across as in reality, whether we're secure and stable and having these bodies integrated within us. You know, using your psychological energy and your physical reality in complete and total perfect harmony, balance between mind, body, and spirit, which would therefore reflect harmony and balance into your life, which is why this is important to do, because this is one of the keys of how to become happy, by integrating this horrible, ugly version of yourself that makes you sad with the super duper amazing version of yourself that makes you super happy, that you may be scared to believe in because because of the other version of yourself that you keep imagining. And when we can stabilize those stories and narratives within our mind, we will then create that perfect balance and integration of our psychological image of ourselves and ourselves as well. And therefore, we see that we start to gain massive amounts of control over ourselves and our reality. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and head on over to Patreon, to private blog for as little as $1. If you'd like to support me there, thank you.